It's the homeschool pep talk we all need. You're now 5 minutes away from a better day in home education. See Mom Learn is a podcast for the perpetually curious, created by me, Tahira Goldson, a lifelong learner, home educator, and talent development professional. A growing number of working moms are making the choice to homeschool. I'm actually one of them. But how do working moms make homeschooling work for them? Here are 4 ingredients for a successful work homeschool balance. So, Netflix just released a series based on the hit cookbook Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Y'all, I love this series. It's all about balance in food and in life. Do yourself a favor and check it out, whether you're a ramen noodle chef or a builder of flavor profiles. But what happens when we apply the rules of the kitchen to home education? Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat inspired this post. Ingredient number 1, salt. Okay, so if you're going to homeschool and that isn't your full-time commitment, just add salt. Salt is a preservative. One of the most important things for me in counting the cost of homeschooling was to be sure I was embarking on a journey that was sustainable. Can we end with the same excitement and rigor that we started with? If you start with 8 hours of work and 8 hours of homeschool every day, the math will not be mathin', my friends. Lucky for us, like salt, a little homeschooling goes a long way. MyHomeschool.com recommends less than 2 hours of academics a day for elementary homeschool. For some moms, that's less than the commute times to get the kids to and from a brick and mortar school. But practically speaking, you could knock out a rich homeschool block before and or after work. If you're a shift worker, it could be easier to build your homeschool time around your scheduled days off. If you're remote, protect your scheduled breaks and your lunch hour. You can do this. The more predictable your schedule, the easier it is to create a routine. But on the other hand, the more flexible your schedule, the more creative your timing can be. Ingredient number 2, fat. Sometimes we're told this, and other times we just fall into the role, the idea that we can do it all. And we can, but not alone. Fat has gotten a bad rap, but in its best usage, fat is really a rich flavor that permeates the entire experience. And when the heat turns up, fat is the difference between yum yum and a 4-alarm fire. Adding fat to your homeschool journey means adding help. Do I have more time or money to dedicate to this task? Consider carpooling to activities or bartering. Maybe you and another family can swap schooling or childcare. Maybe Tuesdays are with the grandparents. Maybe you add in a sitter a few hours a week for your young children, or a group homeschool setting for older kids. Maybe you can consider delegating some learning. Curate the village and share the load. The thing about fat is, in terms of flavor, it's always better to have a little bit more than you need than not enough. Some relationships are seasonal, so working homeschoolers have to actively and intentionally and continuously build their bench of support. 2 things building community can do for you. For moms, one of the quickest paths to fret is not building in support for when the unexpected happens. Try not to limit or isolate yourself from other homeschoolers that you see as more traditional, as far as you can help it. For kids, one of the biggest pitfalls of homeschool success is expecting too much independence, too often, and too early. It's a real challenge, but if we're intentional, we can avoid setting fire to the whole experience and burning out. See what I did there? And burning out can happen to the teacher or to the students. So now that you've added salt and fat, let's add your 3rd ingredient. Ingredient number 3, acid. In the culinary world, acid balances flavor. Something a little sour makes a good dish bright and fresh. Think of adding a splash of apple cider vinegar to greens, or adding Greek yogurt to chicken shawarma. One of the absolute best bonuses to stepping away from the brick and mortar model is freedom to make a balanced life, aka adding brightness and freshness to your life. Spend some time in nature. Take your lessons on the road with car schooling. Take it outside. But even more importantly, make sure you have special family time outside of homeschool lessons. Don't show up for the babies as a headmaster in the moment they need mommy cuddles. If everybody with, take a day off to play. Take a Sabbath. Heck, take a sabbatical when it's needed, right? Take a look at things every day, every week, every month. And if you feel your homeschool is too anything, instead of considering it a failure, use the freedom of homeschooling to course correct. We've made it to the last tip. Salt, fat, acid. Ingredient number 4 is heat. Heat is the power to transform. Think about the crispness of broiled salmon and roasted veggies, or the way slow-cooked shredded beef and barbecue sandwich is so tender. You and your learners have the power to transform your homeschool experience into whatever you dream of. The sky is the limit. Do not make the mistake of thinking you're doing public school at home. The number of homeschool families that do units on knot tying, lock picking, pottery, and woodworking makes me smile. Instead of waiting for a rut, shake things up when and where and how you learn. There you have it, folks. If this made your mouth water, you can thank Chef Samin Nosrat. Check out her recipes at saltfatacidheat.com. Start following See Mom Learn on Facebook while you're at it. Join the Working Homeschool Moms group on Facebook. Try following some of the homeschool influencers on Insta. Until next time, sending you love, light, and living books from See Mom Learn.